Pop in, say hi. If you've never come into one of my lives before, hi, I'm Cindy. I explore the inside and the outside. And you know what? Tonight, I just wanted to leave it on a little bit of a topic. We'll wait for a couple people to pop into my live tonight. And again, if none of you have come into one of my lives, this is my second show. This is Chatters Live. I call it Chatters Live because, well, the people who hang out with me on Sunday nights, they tend to chat more than I do. But unfortunately, tonight, one of us is down for the count. And for myself, I do believe that, it is probably a lot worse than what this person is letting me know that he could be into my life tonight, right? In 7 years, you guys. I do believe it's been 7 years. It's been over 10 years since I've been on YouTube, but for 7 years at least since I've had this live show, Chatters Live, he has never missed a live show. Uh, in fact, he was very seriously ill a couple of years ago, and yet, even in the hospital bed, he managed to come into my life. I would have torn him a new one if I'd known how sick he was, but he kept it kind of a secret until he was feeling a little bit better, until he could manage a little bit better. But it makes me a little bit nervous when he's phoning me to say that he's got a bug, right? Because I know him. If he has a staph infection, right, that's serious, and he shows up. How serious is it in this moment? Last time he didn't even let me know, but he knew that I would not be happy unless he gave me the little bit of a heads up on him not being, and he knew that I would be emailing him right after my live show too. So very grateful that he let me know that he was out for the count, and I hope it is truly just a small bug, right? That it's not something that's serious, that is going to really have a lasting effect, that is going to cause him some issues in his life. You guys, when you come in tonight, say hi. Let me know that we are up and running. Without my regular crew in here, as per, it makes me nervous when I do not see people in my live yet. I might have hit the wrong live button, or maybe this is just the way that my live show is going to play out today, and I am really good with that too. Today, I went out for a little bit to go hang out with my sisters. The past couple of days, I've really been inside of my apartment, getting ready for my camping trip and stuff, and not just getting ready for my camping trip, but we have a great big garage sale coming up, and I'm just going to come into my own live show here just to make sure everything is okay with that. And you know, we were just doing buckets and boxes and oh my goodness, it doesn't look like maybe that I'm live in this moment. Let's just check out where I'm at right now. I'm live. I'm good to go. Just everybody's not used to me being on time. That's what it is. Right. And like I said, I could still actually just be by myself tonight. And that's good. It's summertime. It's summertime, you guys. And it's important that we have this time that we can just go out and pay attention to ourselves. Today, I knew I had to get outside. I knew that I had to get some fresh air, that I actually had to connect with Mother Nature. Even when you're in a big city, you can connect with Mother Nature. Even sitting in your own home, even in your own apartment or house. Like you could sit next to a window and listen to the breeze and the birds and right, the leaves rustling in the trees. It's not as easily to manage in the city, but it is quite manageable. And I felt that need today. I had been in the house for 2 days getting ready for this big yard sale that I'm having. So I went out and, you know, I decided I was just gonna go fishing. Not me fishing myself. Those fishing days for me are all at the end. I must drive them absolutely crazy when my sisters, my brother-in-law, and my nephew catch fish because I'm so anxious for the fish to get back into the water. Hello, Owen. Your head commenter today. I have to say, Andrew will be in. This will be the first time in 7 years that he's ever missed a live show. I'm grateful that he let me know. He sent me an email to let me know that he wouldn't be in tonight. But when we know how consistent Andrew is, he knew that I would be on it, that I would probably stress myself out throughout the live show. So he was considerate enough, even not feeling well, to shoot me off a quick email just to say, I won't be in today. He called it a bug. But Andrew, he's calling it a bug. It's probably a little bit more than that. So, Owen, if you feel compelled to a little bit of a right, a little bit of good cheer for Andrew, who always gives us such great cheer. Kind of led me into the discussion that I kind of wanted to talk about today. Because he was really concerned about letting me know that he wasn't going to be in. And I don't want anybody who comes into my life to feel that they are obligated to show up every single time. Life kicks us in the butt. Literally, life kicks us in the butt. Thank you, Owen. Thank you, Owen. Yeah, so lots of times life kicks us in the butt. And, we go about our day to day and being highly sensitive and being empathic and being a little bit controlling in our lives and of our lives sometimes, that we kind of become a little bit hyper vigilant in everything, in that paying attention, in doing for others, right? We are a bunch of caregivers caregivers here, but we're not always taking care of ourselves, right? And I think we try to. For myself, I try to. I say, Cindy, you need a walk. You need to get outside and get some mother nature, right? So I went down to the river, went for a nice long walk, and it was nice and hot, but it was nice and breezy too. It was a beautiful walk, and it was just what I needed, but it probably wasn't what I wanted. And in that relationship with myself, I have to take a look at that. Am I treating myself well? Just because, right, we know something is good for somebody, right? Cindy, this is Cindy's life and Cindy's experience, and Cindy in creating the best human being she possibly can, right? Might not be on board with that. And so there might be a little bit of hesitancy, a little bit of butting heads, right? And and it's not butting heads with what we have to do. It's butting heads with what those other parts of us think is good for us. With myself, and because of the way that I understand that there's so many parts of me, and in that amalgamation and in that assimilation of myself, that it has to be majority rules, especially as of late. I get to recognize that there really is a lot of aspects of myself that I didn't really understand that they needed attention. They needed their time to be seen, to be heard, to be experienced, right? To be understood. And again, in thinking, right, Cindy decides what's good for those other parts of me, I have to understand, right? Those other parts of me is a bigger part than Cindy herself, right? Cindy's the representation of me in this life. And it's a big part, but I have lots of parts, and those lots of parts have to be in the majority of what I do, or I'm not doing it. Now, also in saying that, those things that I don't want to do, but understand that I have to find a way to do it. I have to do my very best to get that message across, to get that job done, to meet that goal, to chase after whatever dream, right? And no matter what anybody thinks of that, even if it goes against my own grain in that, because I have to recognize Cindy is an amalgamation and assimilation. And just because in the moment I don't want to do it, I'm afraid, right, that I could become my own worst enemy in that. And I can set my own self off because I'm not moving with the majority of what the majority of Cindy wants and knows what she should bring to the table and knows what she should do. But that person that's saying, oh no, this is too scary, this is too hard, right? Not a chance, is digging her heels in. And in that, I am not being true to that majority. So I have to recognize that more. And in recognizing that more, I'll understand that I will be doing things that are scary, that are difficult, things that I don't want to do, things that I don't think I can do. But I'm going to do them anyway, right? Which makes me also a light in my darkness, right? We all have to do things that we don't want to do, right? It's 7 o'clock Tuesday morning, but at 7:05, the garbage man is coming by your house, and you didn't take the recycle bins out to the curb. So, right? You have that responsibility. You don't want to do it, but you gotta do it anyway, right? And the majority understands that, right? You understand that. If that's an understanding, that's a perspective. That is the majority. The perception is the understanding up to the perception. So I wanted to say, you know, Andrew and Owen, right? Lots of aspects of what he does, he loves. He's a caregiver for his mother, and he loves taking care of his mother. But it's a huge responsibility, and it's a big load of stress, and it takes away quite a bit of what maybe Owen would like to be doing. But because he has that responsibility and that accountability, and he knows in the majority of his understanding that it has to be done, he doesn't have a choice, right? So his pain is to sacrifice that Yankees baseball game, right? To make sure that mom's comfortable, that she's got her dinner, and right, and she's taken care of. And you'll sit and you'll watch the game on TV because in that responsibility and in that accountability and in that role that you've chosen in your caregivership, right? That's the light in the darkness. Andrew has been a member of my channel for since I started it over 10 years, right? And my live show, this live show, it took me a year before I could even come before the camera. But as a prime example, the majority of me said, Cindy, you have to. There's no choice in that. The majority says, right? You know this has to happen. So I didn't have a say of that. And so my light is coming to the table, but that light's coming at in the moment the expense of my comfortability, right? That sense of, oh, I don't want to go live. I don't want to have the camera on my face. I don't want people to see my rat woman hair or whatever insecurity I might have in the moment. I might not even have an insecurity. Maybe it's just fear itself. Maybe it's just in that programming I got when I was childhood, right? That I know I'm showing up no matter what. You guys know I'm going to be here on Sunday night. You guys trust that it's 7:30 on the dot. I'm not here. I'm not here. You know I'm going to be here. If you come back 5 minutes later, you know I will be here. I will never fail in that. And if I did fail, I hope somebody would come chasing after me, and you have, right? Come chasing after me and saying, Cindy, we're waiting for you. And I would be right here, right? I would be course correcting right away because it's always my intent to show up because that's my accountability. And even if I'm right, I'm having fun, I'm at a party, no, I will adapt and conquer and I will show up anyway, right? Because that's a commitment that I made to myself. And if it takes away so that I have to come home and do my live show, I'm okay with that too because the majority dictates that this is important, right? And with Andrew showing up here 7 years, never missed a Sunday. So the topic came to mind, light in the darkness, because I bet you, right? Because Andrew loves church. He loves Jesus. Right? And he could be going to Sunday masses and doing evening, right? Congregation. And yet he dedicates himself. He commits himself to hanging out with me, right? And it's so admirable. And you know, people think that I don't notice these things, right? I don't notice when you're here, and I don't notice when you're not here, and that's not true in any way, right? It's because I'm here, right? And I have to be as much as a cheerleader for you guys in your bad days, and I have to wish you well and send you that good cheer because that's my accountability in picking up along the way, right? You guys are in this adventure with me, right? Spectators living vicariously through whatever Cindy's got in store. And oh my goodness, you guys, our yard sale this weekend is coming up. And me and my sister have decided it's just going to be much easier if we just go 50-50 in whatever funds are coming into the yard sale. I think we've got lots and lots, lots of stuff to get rid of. My house, it still doesn't look at like it because I haven't gotten to this wall yet. But technically, this is the only wall that needs to be done. And then when wall is done, it's a little bit of rearranging in the furniture, good sweep and wash the floors, which I've been doing along the way. And right, we are set up for summer. So pleased. And you know what? I know after this garage sale that I'm not going to miss anything, anything that I got rid of. And you guys, I have to say, my brother in law, Tom, shout out to Tom, right? That he came out to my house last night and filled up his truck again with my stuff. It's all that it was, stuff. Even my smalls cabinet is gone, and I had over 200 smalls. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to sell them for. I'm thinking $2 each. or three for $5. But some of them are only little teeny weeny ones that wouldn't be worth 50 cents. But if you accumulate a little pile of those, maybe, right, we could do $2 on a little pile. I don't know. My sister will know better than me in that. And, but it's fun. Tomorrow we're going out. We'll do a little bit of thrifting during the afternoon. My sister doesn't like to drive during rush hour. So we're going to go and set up for the garage sale, and we'll just stay there until early evening, right? Until after rush hour, because my sister doesn't like to drive in the rush hours. And we're going to do our very best to get that garage sale set up so that we can just come in on Saturday, open up our garage doors, pull out our tables, right? Have our cup of coffee and just start watching the money roll in. I hope the grass is mowed. I remember when we went there last, the grass was really long. So I hope the yard, they mowed the backyard, right? And I think we should bring down another. She's got doors up in the rafters, I think, and we brought one down, but I think we should bring another door down and set it up as an outside table to give us some extra space, whether it's for clothes or whatever. I didn't, right? I had a hard time parting with any of my clothes because I did a lot of it during the fall. I donated so much of my stuff. I got everything into my closet and to one Rubbermaid container. And we're talking changing seasons, right? So, oh, and a mattress bag, because the mattress bag has got all my winter shoes in it, right? But yeah, so I did really good. My house is going to be so clear, but before anybody sees it, I'm going to give it a good clean, a little bit of a shuffle, refreshing it, a little bit of change, right? Will be nice for my house. Oh, Owen, happy birthday to your mom. That's fabulous, right? Oh my goodness, what a coincidence that we were actually talking about your mom. Happy birthday to your mom, Owen. How old's your mom now? 86? Your mother's 86? Let me know in the comments if I got that right, if I was thinking properly. But yeah, this is amazing. 85 years old. I would be happy with a good, healthy 85 years old. In the moment, I feel I'm well on track to hitting that target. But my actual true goal is what? Owen, are you serious? Oh my goodness. Owen's mom is going to get a letter of recognition on her 100th birthday from the Prime Minister. Wow, 97 years old. Oh, and that's absolutely amazing. I know you had a couple of challenges this year or in the past couple of years, maybe not just this year. Maybe you had one this year and one last year. But that's so amazing. Happy birthday to your mom. Why are you here with me, Owen? Do you want to go? Do you want to go and hang out with your mom and right? Did you give her a birthday cake? Does she still eat birthday cake? Does she like birthday cake, Owen? 97 years old. Yeah, so my goal is 114 years old. But I would be very happy if I could stick around to being 85 years old. That would be a good age for my bloodline, for people going back. We are just starting to go into our 50s. I think we still, with my youngest sister, I think we still have a few more years. And if we can all stick around for a few more years, all four of us made it into our 60s. That would be a first. That would be a first. My mother, that would have come from my mother's genes. She was the only one to live to be into her 70s. She lived to be 72 years old. But she passed those healthy genes. I believe when it comes to my physical well being, I never got arthritis. My mother had 12 different kinds of rheumatoid arthritis. I never got the arthritis, but other than the arthritis, I believe my mother was very, very healthy. Yeah, my mother was very healthy. I don't remember her ever having bleeding noses, or she had a couple of injuries. She fell off a horse once and broke her nose, and she broke her arm. But rather other than illnesses, no. For myself, I know that I either almost died from measles or mumps. I don't know. They both start with M, right? I asked my mother what diseases I had and about my vaccination. She says, "Oh, you've been vaccinated for everything," right? It's when I found out that I did have measles or mumps, but at that age, I wasn't really paying attention. But she said I almost died. I was only 1 years old when I caught it, and I'm not remembering. I think it might have been mumps, and the idea that measles is back in circulation right now. That right, maybe that's why it's. I'm thinking possibly it was measles because it also starts with an M. I'm not too sure. How do I get those records of my childhood vaccinations? It's really quite interesting. But also in that, I asked my mother, what other things don't I know about my well being? She goes, "No, nothing. You were healthier than a horse." Right. And the next thing you know, it wasn't too long ago. I think it was just before COVID started, right? Because I remember at the time when I got shingles. And shingles is caused by the vaccination that we take. They actually give you cowpox uh, as a vaccination so you don't get chickenpox. And one of the symptoms of getting chickenpox and having the vaccination is the shingles. So I must have had the chicken pox at some point, and my mother just forgot about that. Even myself, I kind of think about how I remember that we had chicken pox, right? Because I remember at one point being all covered in scabs, and my mother slapping my hands, saying, don't touch those." Right? And I think at the same time, all my sisters had them at the same time. So, yeah, I had shingles. If you have the opportunity to get the shingles vaccine, if it is included in your work insurance in any way, otherwise, it wouldn't be much. I don't think it would be more than, well, here in Canada, when I checked into it, it was $65. It might be a little bit more now, but it would be well worth it because shingles put me out. It put me out. Oh my goodness. I was so out for the count. We talked about Andrew. Oh my goodness. I couldn't even imagine how long I would not have been able to come to my life. But I do believe I was still showing up, but that consistency wasn't there. So I might have just filmed something in my discomfort, knowing that I had to show up, right? Being that consistent, responsible person, and then putting it out there. And then it was later on that I became more consistent with my content. I'm not quite sure, right? We don't know a lot about what's going on in the world when it's coming to illnesses. I was watching a YouTube. Hello, Eugene. Aw, Owen, you don't have to. If you feel you want to go away and hang out with your mom, you're more than welcome to. Don't feel that you have to, right? Hello, how am I doing tonight? Good evening, everybody. I'm doing good tonight. Oh, and it's Father's Day. Oh my goodness. Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day, Dad. Oh my goodness. Right? I just thought of a Father's Day present that I got my dad, which was a filleting knife for fishing, and I keep it on my side because it's so pointy, so thin, and so sharp. Nobody could survive that. And it had a little pouch that I could attach to my belt, and it was handy dandy. So when I go off camping, it's kind of like I'm taking a little piece of my dad with me, right? Let me have a sip of my coffee. I was yapping lots today. I went fishing. Well, I didn't fish. My sister and my nephew and my brother in law, they went fishing, and then they just messaged me if I wanted to come down, right? Fishing. They know I like to come and hang out with them. And I cleaned up that whole area. I took garbage bags down there and I cleaned up all the garbage because the homeless and everybody hang out there. And it was still clean today. I was so happy. There was a few bags. One of the bags I had left behind accidentally. I've been looking for my garbage bags all week and I didn't know where my garbage bags were. And then there was a bag. And when Tom, my brother in law, pointed at me, I knew right away I left it behind because I remember I had that bag and I also remembered that's where I put my garbage bags before I left. So I was all excited about running to the bag, but my garbage bags were gone. And the bag was full of garbage. So it was good people put garbage in it. So I just picked up a few cans and stuff that were still lying around just to tidy up about. But I was really pleased that it was so clear that it actually had stayed clean, right? It's a really nice spot. They got, I think, four different types of fish: a bass, a couple of catfishes. Um, um, I don't know what the other fishes were. They were calling them out. I kept going on little chores when they were catching fish, so I only got to see them catch a couple of fish. But that's probably all they wanted me to see because right as soon as that thing was out of the water, I was trying to get it back into the water, and I was driving them crazy. Hurry up, get your pictures! It's dying. It can't breathe, right? And then they were kicking it into the water like it was a football. But I thought that was probably the best way to do it because he was wearing his sandals and he was getting the tip of his sandals underneath the fish and he just flipped it into the water. So it was just one nice light scoop really high. And because it was a kick, he was, well, not a kick because it was a scoop, then a push out, right? So it wasn't like kicking it like a football. But yeah, and it landed in the water and all the fishes swam away. But there was one fish. I'm sure it hurt when it hit the water because he kept kicking it and it just wouldn't go over the wall of the river, right? So he finally got it into the water, which was good. Made me happy that way. But it was really nice to get outside. I really appreciated it. Right? And again, I feel bad because in the moment I didn't want to go, but I'm so glad. I'm so glad that I did. I'm so glad that I did. I was looking at my hair today. I don't know. I have a pair of sandals on, Eugene. So I was looking at my hair today. It is so long. When it's washed, this goes to the last disc on my spine. But because it's so curly, it goes up like this, right? But it's pretty fried. It needs to be shortened at least this much. And I'm getting ready. And because I'm not dyeing my hair myself like a bleach out anymore, because I'm all right, I don't want to look like a 85-year-old woman with blonde, beach blonde California hair, right? That right? It's just not, it's too youthful for me. And I don't want to look my age either. But I found a haircut or a hairstyle that I really, really love. And they are called kinky spiral, kinky spiral. Oh, I can't remember, from some kind of tropical country like the Bahamas or something. But let me see here if I can find here. This is the picture of the hair that I want to get, you guys. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in for a consultation. And I'm not getting dark hair because I'm getting ready just to move into the silver hair or the white hair. I don't know which one it is actually, because my roots are still coming in dark and I can't see the silver and the gray hair with the mix of the blonde hair. But this is the style that I want. And it's going to have to be a perm, so we're going to have to get my hair ready, and I'm going to probably need special shampoos and conditioners. It probably won't be for 6 months because I'll be working on getting my hair healthy enough to take a color and a perm, right? So yeah, it's called a kinky spiral is what it's called. And my hair, if you train it, and a perm will definitely train my hair because my hair will grow because the perm trained it to be like that. It will continue to be like that, and it will be lovely until I cut it. And I was thinking a shoulder length, maybe more circular or something. But I was thinking I would like the color periwinkle, and and it's periwinkle is kind of like that, but much lighter, right? Like even lighter than that. But you can see the purpley blue, right? And that's what periwinkle is. It's a very purpley blue or purpley pink, the lightness of pink, right? So I want to do periwinkle with bright pink highlights, right? Then my highlights will fade out to streaks, right? Which will blend well with the periwinkle hair, which will also fade out, and it will help lead me into my gray style. So I thought one time that I would spend a lot of money on my hair, not even working. I don't even have a job whatsoever for men. I want to spend big money on a hairstyle. And but that's okay. I've only once in my entire life gone for a really nice do. I wanted platinum blonde hair. And I think I spent about $300 plus a tip. And I was so disappointed when I left the hairdresser. That was the very last time I ever cut my hair, in all honesty. It was the very last time that I ever went to the hairdresser because I was so disappointed. Because when I got out of that chair, my hair was yellow and I wanted platinum blonde hair. I paid for platinum blonde hair. And platinum, if you don't know it, is like white, 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 even whiter than this. My hair is pretty white in places, right? Because I've bleached my hair every 6 weeks since I was 16 years old. So that's another reason why we're going to have to go for a consultation before I get this hairdo. It's because I need the best chance I possibly can to keep all my hair, and also to enhance it, to make it even fuller, to make it even thicker. Now, going back to the beginning of my conversation, is that a majority rule? Is that holding myself accountable to get that done? No, that's just a want. That's a whim. And I understand that sometimes these wanton whims just do not happen. But unless I voice it, unless I put it out there, then the opportunity to make some of these amazing experiences and these amazing gifts that, in my lessons, right, I'm being taught to give to myself, to treat myself well, because I consider myself also a caregiver, right? I take care of human souls. But if we want to get narrow in that, I want to take care of the light in the darknesses, those ones who shine on others, even when they're in their own difficult times, even when things aren't going good for them, even if they would much rather be at the baseball game, right? Even if I don't want to go for a long walk. Once I started walking, wow, I felt so amazing. I felt so good, and I was so glad that I went out for the walk. But I tell you, when I got home, because I walked home too, right? And the same time I walked home, because my nephew lives in the same building, I hear this honk right where I'm almost at the corner of my building, and I turn around and they're dropping my nephew off because of the rush hour, right? It took them a little bit longer, and I managed to walk all the way home in the same span that it took them to drive home. So I thought that was pretty cool too. But I tell you, I walked in the door and I was done physically. Mentally, I'm on a roll now because I was hanging out with my family and we're yapping and having a good time. And it's important, right? That is a necessity. And that was something in the majority, because in the majority, I am so grateful that the majority loves Mother Nature, that the majority is excited to know and feel that I'm excited because we're planning a trip this September. I've got five provincial parks, and three of them are for 2 days, and two of them are just in travel time because the two parks that I really want to go to, um, they're a little bit further away. So I have to make the extra time to go there, right? If I can't go right into the interior of Ontario, at the very least I want to get this far. And five provincial parks. I know last year I said I wanted to spend 2 days in each park, but I think financially, number one, this was an unexpected, fantastic, beautiful, shouldn't be happening gift, right? But at the same time, I got to make sure that it's budgeted well. This garage sale coming up this weekend is for paying my camping spots and for a new desktop computer. Now I think I can get the desktop computer fairly inexpensive because I have my great laptop to do the most of the important hard work that takes up a lot of data and stuff. Basically, I just use my desktop for taking in lessons. I like the big screen of my monitor. I like having the Wi-Fi uh, through my desktop, and then having all my devices attached to that. Um, yeah, so it's important for me to have a laptop and a desktop, and you never know what should if something should happen to my laptop, then I just have my desktop, and I'll just slap on a webcam, and off we go. So it's important to cover my bases. Why? Because in those accountabilities to the majority of myself, I have to show up, right? Even if I'm digging my heels in, I know. And it doesn't happen Sunday night. I love Sunday nights. I love the crew on Sunday nights. I love the energy on Sunday nights. I love you guys. And you guys I know, are here on Sunday nights, right? But even during the week, I really appreciate that I'm able just to come in and, right, do my thing. Yeah, It's a good thing. Okay. So, light in the darknesses to get back on track, right? Light in the darknesses. That is my target audience, right? And I think to some extent, everybody is the light in the darkness. Even the darkness touching the light. Wow, the darkness touching the light. That is the hardest. There's guilt and shame in light, right? Touching the dark. But we are only human, and that has to be acceptable in the state of our evolution. But those darknesses that are touching the light for the very first time, possibly I was one of those, right? Human souls that came into that experience. And, to actually have that good mentorship to know that, right? Not to beat myself up because the dark is there, right? The woes are there. The sadness is there. The depression is there. The frustration is there. The madness is there, right? In the same suit. I, for myself, being in the middle, right? My parents come from the extreme. My mother loved Jesus, but you wouldn't catch my dad in a church. The only time he ever went to church was, or the last time he ever went to church was when he married my mother. And I suspect if he had, right, held on to the point where I was able to find my one and get married, he would have come to my church also. Or, right, he would have talked me into celebrating in another way, possibly in the middle of a forest or something, right? But I had lost touch for quite a while in that relationship with my husband, who wasn't as appreciative as I was about Mother Nature. And because I was the people pleaser, because, I was taking care of my husband, because I was taking care of his needs, possibly that was my darkness in the light, in, right, shining on my husband and shining in our marriage and shining on all that was good in my life. And in that, sacrificing that little bit that me and those other parts of me love so much. That Mother Nature, that way that I can never, never fail to be able to connect with myself, is to connect with that solidified essence of the trees and the grass and the bushes. I feel a little itchy today. I was kind of going in the bushes and it crossed my mind if I was going through poison ivy or something. But when I see these beer cans and stuff hanging on a big leaf or something, it just kind of ruins the landscape. So I had to get in there. But I noticed I just keep wanting to touch my nose. Maybe I was in the sun a little bit too much, right? Maybe I'm at that point now that maybe I can start wearing a little bit of suntan lotion. I don't stay out in the sun for a long time. You usually no more than a half an hour or so, and then I'm back inside, or I protect my skin from it. But today I think I was outside for 2 or 3 hours. I was wearing a sundress. It is long sleeved, right? But still I'm getting sun and I'm getting heat, right? Okay. So yeah, I'm going to film the process of this big yard sale that I'm, right. We're working on goals. We're working on achieving a few things. Also gives you a little bit of an idea of what's been putting the roof over my head for the past few months. Me and my sister had a little bit of a contest this week. Monday we went out thrifting, and for those of you, me and my sister are reselling and making a few dollars. We'd like to make even more, but in the moment with the yard sale going on and work and life in general, right, we're still managing to get out a couple of times, right? Uh, we've only managed to get out once this week and once last week. But last week when we went out, we got four stone guard screens to go over headlights, and we paid $5 a pair for them. They were brand new in the box, but they were for models for the 1980s, right? And they turned out to be such a great score. We listed them for $125 each. So it's only been listed for about 10 days now. No bites yet, but we thought that was pretty cool. This past week, we picked up two items. Well, one item was three items because we picked up a brand new racquetball bag, which turned out to be brand new and very high end, and they sell for almost $300. And two um, handball rackets? No, not just racquetball rackets, brand new condition, and they themselves were also like $200 each, and there were two of them in this bag. We paid $15 for this bag. So me and my sister went to another store and we found a pair of Helly Hansen steel-toed rubber work boots, and they go for almost $300 brand new. So I listed the rubber boots for $150. I thought we could get $150. They were in really good condition. They go for a lot of money. Everybody who's looking for Helly Hansen has probably got a few dollars in their pocket, right? Right? We like to be on brand. And at the same time, to get a good quality steel toed boot, they're expensive. And so to be able to save almost 200, it would have been $200 savings with the taxes, right? So I listed them for $150. And me and my sister had a little contest to see who could sell theirs first. So she put the rackets up for 200, which is a really good deal because it was like $700 for the three pieces, the two rackets and the bag if you had to buy them brand new. For me, my boots were 300. I marked them at 150 thinking that I would get some bites. I did, but just watchers, right? Nobody who's dishing out their money, but right, or making inquiries, but there are a couple of people watching my boots. This week I put the price of the boots down because my sister sold her rackets on the second day. $200. She's so good, right? So that was pretty good. So for the profit on that day, we both got $95 each in profit, just from the rackets. If we sell the headlights, we're going to make another $430 profit on that. And if I sell my gum boots, we are going to make $90 profit. But that's pretty good. And the funny thing is, we paid more for the Helly Hansen boots than we did for anything else. We paid $30 for the work boots, and I haven't gotten a bite on them yet. But we'll see. Okay, let me take a sip of my coffee before we move forward. You guys, for those of you who pop in later, you want to send, right, Andrew, some good cheer. He's not feeling well tonight. He is taking a break from the live, and you guys know who've been hanging out with me for any length of time that, even when he had septic and he was in the hospital and he could have passed away, he was still in my live shows. So him letting me know, he sent me an email, right? He let me know that he was going to be in tonight. And right, any one of you guys, you're not feeling well, you want a night out. If it's mom's birthday, right? It doesn't matter what it is. If you feel compelled to be somewhere else, you guys be somewheres else. And I know if it's important, you will pop in because this stays on my channel. And so you guys can pop in, and tomorrow you can come in and this will be sitting there. And if it is, I hope you put your feet up and you're enjoying your evening or your day, even if it's just in rest, right? Because it's important that we take care of ourselves. But we have to consider, right? If we're taking care of ourselves, is it tough love? If it's, I know best, and I never ever want it to be that way because I know, you know, right? Growing up with that, lots of people said, I know best, and they didn't know poop. And that's an honest truth. I wish I had stuck to my gun and stuck to my ideas and my thoughts and stuff. And, I might have been it might have been a different story. Oh, Kathy made it in. Oh, hi, Kathy. Andrew, this is the first time Andrew's not been in to my live show in 7 years. He's not doing well, so you think to send him some good cheer. I sent him a little bit. I sent him a message back to him in his email. And yeah, everybody. Andrew is an amazing, amazing guy and a light in the darkness. The way he shows up, even when he's not feeling well, and I'm glad that he's treating himself well. But I also know, thank you, right? I also know Andrew well enough to know that is probably a little bit more than a bug. He called it a bug and he couldn't come in today. So, right, knowing Andrew, it's a little bit more. So I really do send him a little bit. My sister made it through all of her operation tests. She flew through them. She did really good. She just have to go in for one more test, which is the breathing one, just to make sure that she'll be okay under anesthesia. And once that has that test, then she gets her date for her operation. So we're all rooting for her. She's been resting lots, not taking visitors, not taking on any extra stress. And so right, we're just trying to honor that, but at the same time, understanding that's our sister, right? And if she needs us, she should know that that would be important for us to be there for her. But I also understand sometimes that causes more stress than it does relief. And so I just left it up to her. If she wants us to pop by and visit, terrific. If not, I'll wait for her to go into the hospital. When she goes into a hospital, I'll go up to her house with my Pine Sol and my Mr. Clean, and I will get all her laundry done. I'll fill up her fridge with some nice groceries. I'll take care of the cats, bring fresh cat litter home, right? Make everything all comfy that she can just lay on the couch for a couple of weeks and recuperate over something that, knowing my sister, is more physically excruciatingly scary than the operation physically is. My sister does not like hospitals. She does not like doctors. She does not like surgery. She's doing what she has to, right? Just like in this conversation we started when we came in, that sometimes in that majority, right? You never give up. You adapt and conquer. You find a way, right? And that's exactly what she's doing in that, and I'm going to give her that space to play it out however she wants to play it out. But when she gets home, I'll make sure that that place is good to go, and she won't have to worry about too many things, right? Except managing to get herself to her bed, to the bathroom. And even then, my sister lives in the same building, my youngest sister, and she's been a lifesaver to my sister Tracy. So I'm not worrying in the least about that. My sister is going to fly through that operation. It's just the scary of it. You know what I said when I came in life, and I think I talked a little bit about yesterday, digging our heels in those things that we don't want to do, those things that we're afraid to do, those things that freak us out so much. And yet we know nobody's going to do them for us, right? It's not something we can get out of, that we're going to have to show up for ourselves one way or another. That light of doing what's right, what's most important, right? What's being called for in that difficulty, in that darkness, in that total stall, in that digging of the heels, in that planting ourselves and not wanting to move an inch. That's the light in the darkness because you know you're going to do it anyway. Why? Because it's the right thing to do, right? Because you don't have a choice in all honesty because you want to stick around, right? Tomorrow's another day, right? Because you have too much to live for. There's a whole bunch of reasons. How about a chance to get it right? Right? A chance to burn a little bit of karma that you thought you didn't have, right? And if you didn't have that, then maybe to shine on somebody who is going through their karma, who is trying to shine inside their own darkness because you recognize that it was gifted to you, that it's a way to pay it forward a little bit, right? Yeah, that's the way I think about it. Oh, my voice is going on me. It's been a long time since I've talked as much as I've been talking today. It was pretty exciting today. I got excited every time they caught a fish. Glad that it wasn't me that caught the fish because I have to cut the line and let them swim away, free the fish, right? It was pretty funny watching me. I get overly anxious when I see a fish flopping on the concrete. But yeah, my nephew, he was catching them. He was catching them right and left, and they all caught fish. My brother-in-law caught fish. My sister caught. There's lots of fish in that river. Unfortunately, it's not fish that you can eat because the waters are polluted, right? Things are being dumped into them, and I'm sure if they did those tests, that it would be clearly visible that the water isn't truly usable. I wouldn't even use it by boiling it and putting capsules in it. Well, maybe if I put capsules in it and stuff, I would make sure that it was totally sterilized again. But I think I would try other methods first, like draping plastic sheeting and right catching the dew in the bottom and then pouring it into a bottle that way. There's lots of ways to collect water. There really is. Okay. You filmed farmland, trains, helicopters, and airplanes? Eugene, that is so cool. That's super interesting. Do you fly at all, Eugene? Do you ever like to go for those flights? Um, I'm not unappreciative of plane rides. I could go on planes. I like plane rides. I'd much rather keep my feet on the ground in all honesty. It's why probably I want to be on the road. I want to be doing the RV life. It's because I want to travel, right? And if I want to travel, I think I would enjoy traveling a lot more by car than or by RV than I would, excuse me, by airplane. But I'd like to know, Eugene, let me know. Here, I'll just pull this down. Let me know in the comments. Eugene, whether you like to go on the planes and the helicopters. I've never been on a helicopter. Um, though I do see those helicopters in the landing pad. I actually talked about, because I was allowed one extravagant feature for my wedding, and I had two of them. I ended up with the white New Yorkers, which were the vehicles for the wedding, and I wanted to go down the aisle by bagpipes, and I couldn't choose between the two, so I chose both. But in consideration, I also thought about being dropped off because we were on base and we do have helicopter pads on base. And I thought how cool it would be to be able to land on a helicopter pad, have one of the New Yorkers pick us up and drive us to the church, which was also on base, right? But it was November. Our wedding day was minus 30 Celsius. That was our wedding day. And it was horrible because uh, my pastor who married us went out the night before. He was a padre, right? One of the boys. And he went out the night before and he was pounded and he was hung over and he slept in, right? He was right out of it, late for my wedding, and I don't think my wedding was till like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That's how out of it he was. All my guests were standing outside at 30 below zero. Why? Because they lived in the apartments and in the military queues that were across the street from base. And a lot of the guys lived on base that weren't married. And so everybody just walked over. And I don't think the wedding even started till like close to 4 o'clock is when he showed up. Everybody stayed outside. All the women, all the guys, nobody was dressed for it because they were just running across the street. Oh my goodness, I remember that. And he burped all through the sermon. He kept burping, 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 and giggling. And then when he went into his own spiel, he went right into divorce and talked about divorce. I guess he was ticked off because we were trying to get a hold of him, trying to find the guy who was supposed to be marrying us. Like, where are you? The lady on the organ showed up, but yeah, the pastor himself, he was really late. And we joked about it. It made for good stories in the years to come. Shortly after that, that church that we got married in on base, it burnt down. Right? 2 weeks after I got engaged, I lost my engagement ring. 2 weeks after I got engaged, I lost my engagement ring. Crazy. And my house garbage stayed in my house for I think about 2 months, for a very long time. I had a furnace room. I kept that door closed. And that garbage stunk, but I had to go through those bags numerous times. I had a really hard time throwing my garbage out because I was on the hunt. I was searching for my engagement ring. Should have been the first sign that I shouldn't have gotten married. That's I say that as a joke because my marriage was amazing. I had an amazing marriage and so much fun. It was so loving. It offered up so much of an experience that it was my dream, and he fulfilled that part of my dreams for myself, and that was absolutely amazing, right? Maybe I didn't wish for happily ever after, but I married my Prince Charming and I had a wonderful life for as long as it lasted. Yeah, 100%. Now, how did we get down on that one? Oh, the getting married. Yeah. So then, on top of that, when he found out I picked two things, that I picked picked the bagpipes, and I picked the white New Yorkers for for vehicles for the wedding, and I needed 6 of those vehicles because I think 7 bridesmaids and a maid of honor and a flower girl, and I had my best friend walk me down the aisle because my father had already passed away by then, and my mother had 12 different kinds of rheumatoid arthritis. Um, but But yeah, and the same amount on my husband's side because he was very popular on base, right? He was a little socialite, and I thought I was a bit of a socialite at that time, right? But he was, he was too. And yeah, he says, "Oh, Cindy, which one you giving up? You giving up the cars or you giving up the bagpipes?" Well, at that time, I was a VLT addict, even getting ready for my marriage and stuff. I was gambling. So, of course, I let the most expensive one go. So, I let the cars go the day before my wedding. My husband says, "What are we driving?" I said, "She told me to give one of them up. I gave the cars up." He says, "What? We have no vehicles?" I says, "Can't you drum up some pickup trucks or something from your friends?" That's exactly what we did, but only for the smaller part, like the family, the family vehicles, like the mothers and the sisters rode in the pickup trucks, and then the wedding party. We did end up pulling together a few white New Yorkers for the wedding. I was that person. I took us for his word if he said one or the other, but not recognizing he wanted me to have the wedding that I wanted, and if I wanted both, right, I could have, I truly could have had both. But as much as he was making a point, I guess I was making a point too, right? Okay, Eugene, thank you. That comment didn't make it to the comments, Eugene. It does happen lots of times, but here on Sunday night, yeah, they watch over me pretty good. Yeah, right? You slip one of those comments about the dresses or the shoes and see they won't even make it, Eugene, because they're right on top of that. They'll just make that comment invisible. Sorry about that, but that's how it goes, and that's how I want it because this isn't just my brand. That just isn't my content. This is a safe space for everybody. Not to say that, you're dangerous or anything, but this is a safe space. And whether it's a swear word or something that somebody thinks that might be taken the wrong way, they'll just zip it out. Yeah, don't nobody no, not at all, Eugene. Not at all. But just don't feel bad, Eugene, if you see that your comments are being zapped because they'll zap them right out of there really, really fast. And I don't want you to feel bad, right, Eugene? So right, it is what it is, and this is right a platform for all of us. This is our community center. Majority rules, you guys. Majority rules with me. It's just everything. I'm just right in the middle, and I think everybody should have a free say in everything. It's why I'm non-denominational. I believe that everybody should be able to believe in whatever they believe in, no matter what the religion is, no matter what the political idea is, that we can find commonalities in each other. And I just want to kind of promote, like part of this, of having these comments zapped out of the conversation is just to let people know what values, right, this channel runs by. And then when it's clear like that, right, it's clear. Oh, I love the thunderstorms, Eugene. The thunderstorms are absolutely amazing. We got some clouds in the background right now. Oh, my phone is. Here's my phone. Um, uh, we got some clouds going on in the background, but I don't think it's going to rain tonight. They didn't say anything about rain, and it was very hot. I just enjoyed my walk today so much. Oh, it's going to rain tomorrow, you guys. Yeah, the rain doesn't start until tomorrow morning, but it's going to rain all day. It's going to rain all day. So tomorrow I am staying in. Am I staying in? Oh no, I'm not. Me and my sister are going out to my niece's place, and we are setting up. We are setting up for a garage sale that we're having, right? And so I'll be running off with my sister tomorrow, and then on Tuesday I'll probably try and get outside again tomorrow. Or no, maybe if I'm out tomorrow, I'll probably stay in the house. Otherwise, um, the next day. So I don't know. I'm going to play it by ear. There's going to be a lot of energy burned in the next few weeks, only because, well, we got this big pork roast that we're going to. It's a really great. It's a concert in the field. It's for. Let me. I'm just looking at this fly. Okay, it's gone. Okay, it was distracting me. Like I'm wondering, I have an extra screen here, but if they're flying in through the holes in the screen, I don't want them. I don't want them in my apartment because they're just going to die. I remember, in my old apartment, I would have these pet black flies and they would live. Oh my goodness, I had one fly that lasted a month before I lost track of him. I left my windows open so he could get out if he had to, and every once in a while try and shoo him out the window. But I think it would have needed a nice rain or something so that that cold, fresh air would have drawn them to the window and they would have been able to, right, fly off free. But for the most part, these flies get into my house. They're going to die in here, right? I don't want to have problems in my house where, things are going to die in here, right? And I have to remember I am in a building full of lots of vulnerable, right? So I have to make sure that I'm paying attention to the critters, right? I don't want them in my house. But what were we yapping about? Oh, the thunderstorms. Yeah. I love the thunderstorms, Eugene. We are going into the season right now. Usually the last 2 weeks of June are pretty crazy with the rain. And because the heat's rolling in now, we get those wicked, wicked thunderstorms. Unfortunately, those thunder and lightning, they're causing forest fires. And if you've heard anything in the news about us in the States, we are having a lot of problems with wildfires this year. And I haven't been following in the past few days because I've been doing right, trying to get as much out of my apartment as I possibly can so I can feel like it's actually thinned out, right? And yeah, so I haven't been paying attention. Anybody out there that knows anything about how the fires in Canada are being handled right now? You got in a little bit late, uh, Kathy. I said I decided on the hairstyle that I'm going on. Where is it? Um, where is it? Maybe it disappeared. Oh no. Oh, I was going to show you my maybe it's in my updates. We'll see. No, it's not even in my updates. Oh well, I was going to show you the hairstyle that I was going to get to help me trans into being more mature, right? It's called a spiral kinky something. It's from the Bahamas. It's not an afro, but it's really tight curls, and you guys can see I got lots of curls, but lots of it's frizzy, and I'm gonna have to have it cut practically up to here, right? So I've been looking at what kind of styles I could do with that, and I was thinking, right, I sure would like to go periwinkle with uh, red highlights, like pink highlights underneath with this one hairstyle. I'm gonna try one more time, see if I can find it. Oh my goodness. Oh, I saved it to something. I don't know what I saved it to, but I did save it to my pages, but it is gone now. But at least it's saved to my phone. I'll figure out where maybe I saved it to my keep. Let me take a look. I might have saved it to keep. Let's take a look. Um, see if this is it. I know I saved it somewheres. Okay, here I come. No, it's not. It's not there. And I should do these things on my own time. I showed it earlier, actually, Kathy. If you go right back to the beginning and if you just scroll, you should be able to see it on the screen. If you go backwards and you can see the kind of hairstyle that I would trust your opinion, being another woman, Kathy. If you would let me know if you thought that style, I gave it some serious consideration. I did see the hairstyle, and I've been looking for a long time, and I found my hairstyle, and it's actually a black lady's hairstyle, and but it's so beautiful, and I think I it would suit me very, very well. And I think when the periwinkle fades out, the gray would blend in really nicely, and then the pink highlights in it would also transition very well into a silvery hair. I think the whole process would take a year, but I'm thinking of going in. Well, I'm not thinking if I do this because I have to take a hair color and I have to take a perm because even though my hair is curly, I need a really good solid spiral in it. So it just like springs. And that's exactly what I want. I want springs all over my head, and I want my hair to be about this length. But it'll be full, right? It'll be full, and I think it will look cute. And it'll also help me to transition into those mature hair colors that I want to move into, but I'm having a hard time doing that because again, I don't want to be that 85-year-old lady with the white platinum blonde California yellow hair. I don't want to be that person, right? Look at the little old lady trying to be 20 years old, and even though I don't identify with my age, right? I am aware of it, and I think at the very least I'd like to be stylish in something I'm going to put a lot of money into, right? I suspect a perm and a color like that's going to cost me maybe $300. I think a consultation will probably cost me 50 to $100 also. But then I know that I'll get something right. I haven't been to the hairdresser since the last time they did the hair, and I did this exact same thing. I went out and I spent a lot of money because I knew that I wanted platinum blonde hair. I wanted platinum, like wait, 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 wait. And this is pretty white, but platinum is really white, right? It's more of an ashy, silvery color. And I know what platinum hair looks like. And this I is as close as I've got. And I did this myself. But I went to this hairdresser and I says, I don't care. I just want platinum hair. She worked on my hair for hours. And then she held that mirror up to the back of my head. And my hair was yellow, right? I was so sad. But being that people pleaser, right? Didn't say anything. I might have mentioned, doesn't it look a little yellow back there? And she would have given her excuse for it, her explanation, and I would have settled for that because I don't stir the pot. And I know I wouldn't have stirred the pot. And not only would I have not stirred the pot, I would have given her a pretty amazing tip. And then, right, I would have gone straight to Shoppers Drug Mart, picked up my own hair colors, and redid my hair. I probably would have cried a little bit too, right? I'm not somebody, I don't come from a household because my own household is what I do with it, right? That $300, right? Because I'm sure it was like a couple $100 and then a $50 tip, we'll say, at that time. And I was so disappointed. I know I cried. I know that I was very upset because my heart was set on platinum hair and I didn't get that. She assured me that that was going to happen. And right, I didn't want her to feel bad in that. Isn't that a silly thing? It brought me right back to a childhood experience that I had. You know, my mother sent me to the hairdresser. She gave me $5 and sent me to the hairdressers to get my hair cut. I wasn't allowed long hair when I was a kid. It had to be short, 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 pixie short, right? Because my hair was so curly. But I was a big girl now. She was sending me to the hairdresser by myself with $5. I could tell the hairdresser what kind of hairdo I wanted. Now, looking at this experience now and putting myself in my mother's shoes, right? I told the hairdresser I wanted that hair from the mother, like that looked like the mother from the Brady Bunch. I loved that look with the little flippies on the bottom, right? So you know it would have come to the shoulder. It wasn't a pixie in any way. Pixie is almost like a shave in my mom's definition of it. And I came home so proud. I was so happy. She did such a good job. And my mother just looked at me and told me to go back and tell that lady to do a proper job of my hair, to use those words, that she did a terrible job and to do my hair in the pixie the way that my mother wanted. Oh, I bawled my eyes out. I fought with that. And it traumatized me. In the end, what I did, I didn't go to the hairdresser. I didn't go to the hairdresser. I didn't tell the hairdresser that my mother said that you had to go do your hair, my hair properly. I took the scissors to my own head rather than disappoint my hairdresser because I was so happy. I raved about it. I was so proud of it. She would have felt so bad. I know she would have felt bad. And I know she would have fixed my hair up the way my mother was because, my mother wasn't the only mother that was like that, right? I had curly hair. She didn't like brushing out the hair knots, right? But I cut my own hair. I did a little sneaky on that. And, when that woman did that to my hair, right? And I gave her that tip and I said, oh, very lovely. A little bit yellow, don't you think? And oh, a little blue shampoo, that'll get it out of there. And yeah, went home with yellow hair. I was so sad. My own fault because I went in there with auburn hair. I should have known better. I should have, right, gone in for a consultation, had my hair lightened at that point, and then just good shampoos and conditioners to make sure that it's growing and healthy until I was able to go in and then at that point go platinum, right? But I was anxious. I needed that platinum hair yesterday. And so after that experience, I never went to a hairdresser ever again. And that's the truth. And I'm going to say, okay, look at my hair, how long it is. I just let it grow and I let it fall. I let it fall out, and lots of it falls out because I color it lots, right? But I suspect that it grows in just as fast as it right. You can see different layers of the burnout in that. I can see a layer right there, right? And it'll be kind of a shag style. But yeah, I never had a haircut since that experience. And that experience, I would have to say, was in about 2005, I'm going to say, because I know where I was working at the time. And I know what kind of paychecks I would have had to have in order to um, do something like that, number one. And also how secure I had to feel in that job that I wasn't going to lose it in any time soon. And I think for that job, till it got to a certain point, I felt that way. So it was a good time for me to waste a big chunk of a paycheck. And that's exactly what I did. So that was 20 years ago since my last haircut. I trim my bangs, you guys. That's what I do. I dye my hair like clockwork. Every 6 weeks I dye my hair like I've been doing since I was 16 years old, right? And I have a little bit of Samson complex, right? Because things don't go well sometimes when, right? I cut my hair and I know it's a mental thing and what you think about is realized. But if I go, that's my power, that's my beautiful hair, look at me with short hair, right? That I would feel myself and I would know that I felt bad and maybe in feeling sorry for myself that might put me in a little bit of a negative state, right? So yeah, enough about my hair. Let's just close out this notification and see what's going on. Um yeah, I hope no, I'm in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Eugene. I'm in Winnipeg. I'm in Canada. Um, perfect. Yeah. Oh, you like that one? You like that one? I think that if I go for a consultation and if I take care of my hair, that I could have that. And the thing is, my entire life with curly hair, my hair is very trainable. So if we get the perm in that, my hair will train into the pearl, into the kink, into the swirl. What do you call it? Ringlet, into the ringlet, and then I'll be able to keep it. It'll be a style that I'll be able to have for the rest of my life, and I think probably at a shorter length, and it'll still be longer, right? Because it's very much, even if I could only get a meatball in, I would like something that will give me a little bit of a ponytail, right? So that right, that ponytail gives me those instant facelifts, right? Right? Don't pay for the facelift. Just wear a ponytail. Okay, you guys. Oh, awesome. Yeah, consultation, first spare $50, $75 that I have. I'm going in for the consultation because you know the consultation, I'll be walking out of there with special hair conditioners and special shampoos, right? And so, yeah, treat the hair probably for maybe 4 months or something, and then we'll see. I'm pretty excited about that. It'll be a new, fresh change for me. And it's not going to be totally pixie short right to the scalp, right? So I'll be happy about that. Okay, you guys, that's it for me tonight. It's time for some din din. I don't know what I'm going to have for din din. Maybe just a bowl of soup and some toast. That sounds good. And then just make myself a fresh cup of tea and yeah, call it a day. You guys, I'll be back tomorrow if you want to pop in and see how setting up for the yard sale worked out. I'll probably be filming it, so we'll put a little bit of a video together, a little outdoor video of that adventure, and then after that, well, I'll take you on this big barbecue that we're doing. It's a camp out. It's for cancer, a whole bunch of big metal bands. They all play all weekend, so it's going to be real loud. So I'm going to make sure I have my headphones or my, at the very least, my earplugs so I can get a little nappy in My sister says I'm not going to nap that weekend, but we'll see. I don't hear so well in this year, so I'll just turn my head on here and it'll block it all out. You guys have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow. If we don't see you tomorrow, we'll see you next Sunday. Sending out the best to Andrew, right? I'll be checking in on him tomorrow and make sure that he's okay, to get the ins and the bits of what's really going on, because we know it's a little bit more, but sending him all kinds of good cheer. We love our Andrew. You guys have a great night. Bye bye.